I'm your girl Mally, and this is what I've learned, the travel edition. So if you're planning to go to a country that speaks the same language as you still want to brush up on some lingo, because sometimes a word that you use and you're accustomed to may not translate the same in this other place. I went to Colombia last year, and since I speak Spanish, I didn't even think about this until it came up. So I met a girl from Facebook, another creator, and we went to lunch. And she's like, "Oh, I want a straw." And in Spanish, we say popote. And so she's like, "Oh, how do you say this?" Because she was trying to learn, she was going to be there for a while. And so the waiter comes over and she's like, "Oh, I want a popote." And I mean, she said it in Spanish, but popote. And the waiter was looking at us like didn't understand. And she's like, "Oh, like a popote, one of these." And even I said it. I'm like, "Oh, quiere un popote." Because I'm like, maybe she didn't quite understand, the accent. And she still didn't know what we were saying. And then there was a couple right by us, and they're like, "Oh, it's a pitillo." And I'm like I was confused, and they're like, "Oh, you're Mexican, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, in Mexico they use popote, but here we call it a pitillo." Which sounds kind of weird if you're Latino, you probably know why. And so we're like, "Oh, okay, well, that's why she didn't understand us and looked at us like we were crazy because popote," and I don't know if popote is actually something else, or nothing, but the correct word was not popote. So just something to keep in mind because you don't want to offend anybody on your trip.